What's up, Camp Bell? How you doing? I am here. Oh, and I need to buy, I need to get my tailoring buffs. Forgot to do this earlier today. I need 2. Screw it. I'll buy 6. Spell weed. I just did fire. I did. I need shadow. Alright, I'll buy 8. Easy. Watching on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you, Bobby. I have no idea how that. I don't know if Twitch really cares. I mean, you know, either way, I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Funny, technically, I'm watching myself on Twitch too, but that's how I have to read Twitch chat because I don't have any other way to read it. Because OBS only shows me YouTube chat. I use like some janky free service to multi-stream. I mean, they have other ones that are free too, but I'm definitely not using the best one that I could. I need to go to these shrines now. Wait. Moonshroud. Do I not have Eternal Life? I thought I just bought these. Oh, whoops. I did not. Okay. But how are you doing today, Bobby? How's your Thursday going? Literally, I went in here and I just didn't buy them. Thanks for the follow. I thought you stream on YouTube only. I do both. So I'm on YouTube and Twitch right now. YouTube has rules against multi-streaming if you're an affiliate or a partner, so I canceled my affiliate status with them so that I can multi-stream on Twitch and YouTube. I'd rather, you know, I'd rather more people watch than like worry about getting Twitch subs or anything, you know. Good man, I have an alt run, aka my S Priest run tonight. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's always a fun raid. I am good. I am good. You know what's really funny is that video that I put out today just had so many comments. I wasn't, and there's like a lot of people who just like, you know, a lot of good fun comments, but then a lot of people who just like didn't understand Shadow Priest weren't in the Discord. And I was really surprised at how many people just in the first day. Like, I mean, I love all the comments, but I felt like I was going through each one and trying to figure out, all right, what did you ask here? What did you say that's wrong? How can I, you know, trying to like answer everybody's questions. Holy crap, I only have 2 of these. Yeah, that's actually fine. Thought I was looking at this icon. So I can only get 2 cloth, but like the Moonshroud one doesn't really matter. So I'll just get Spellweave and Ebon Weave because I don't care about the MP5. That's fine. I was not prepared before raid today. Oh wait, it's the wrong one. See if I can make this before my summon runs out. No, I don't think I'm gonna get there in time for my summon, especially with the 10-second channel or cast for this. Yeah, no way. The only comment was the horde horse. That's funny. Yeah, you know what's funny is like I did that intentionally. I was surprised at how many people like cracked up at that, like commented on it, thought it was funny. I mean, I'm glad. I thought it was funny too. So we can get a 1, 2, 3 real quick. But yeah, I thought putting horse there was funny. I guess I can just... I'll just wormhole. See if I get there before... See if I can get a summon before I get there. If not, no biggie. We have everybody in raid. I don't know if we'll start 5 minutes early though. Oh, I'm not even in Discord. I'm like, why is it so quiet right now? I should join Discord. I should not have clicked this. I need to log out, save my buffs. Won't believe last night I was able to sign Firelight Circle. Oh, hell yeah. Almost got Iron Mender. Oh, man, you lost to a mage. Iron Mender would be sick for you. You really need that. Firelight's good, too. Yeah, your rings were rough. So Firelight's actually a very good ring. So nice. Congrats, Hunter. That's awesome. Why is my screen's always green? The lighting always gets messed up. But hey, 309 hit. That's good. That's like that's a normal number. That's awesome. Congrats. I mean, oh, I thought I was higher on this guy. I'm at 261. And I'm not a Draenei on this guy, so I always have a Draenei in my group, like 90% of the time. Your DPS jumped 250 on the sim. That's awesome. Congrats. That's awesome. Yeah, you'll have to see if you can maybe snag some, orange parses now. Ass keeper. Yeah, I have my tailoring buffs I just logged out for. I picked up Abyssal Rune and Drop Dying Curse. Had to gem a couple hit gems, but it jumped me up like 80 DPS. Hell yeah. Abyssal Rune's so good. It's a very good. It's funny, despite being 200 item level, it's very good. You're doing 10-man hard mode tonight, so maybe getting a chalice. Oh, that would be huge. I mean, that's a hit offhand, but like, a very big difference between your 213 offhand and a 245 offhand with a socket. So good luck. Good luck. You could also, you want to try to get the wand off the first. Hold on, let's go through some stuff for you real quick on 10-man. So on 10-man, either these two items, Ice House Cinch is just an awesome belt, even though it has hit on it. It's really good if you need a hit item. And then obviously the wand is extremely good. It's Biss for Alliance. Jiraxis. Obviously you have Firestorm. Everything else is kind of meh here. These aren't bad, but I mean, most people have Bejeweled Wizard Bracers. I'm pretty sure you did too. Faction Champs doesn't really have anything. Oh yeah, the Chalice, obviously. And then a Noob. I guess a Noob doesn't really have much. These are... Okay. Yeah, so I'd say really try to get these items. Hey, how much haste do you have on your priest? I've noticed that people in my similar have higher haste. Have way less haste. I think I have 640 on this guy, and I have like 770 on my main. It's a lot of haste. My Aflock is 246 and 796 unbuffed. Yeah, I would say that's a lot of haste, but I mean, if you sim well and have good gear, like that's not... I have 784. My gear is pretty balanced. I have 755 crit, 784 haste. What glyphs do I have? Mine's here. Do I want to switch this to Shadow? Let's try switching this to Shadow or Pain and see if I can remember to swap to Mine's here before a noob. Does your Unholy DK still spec into Ebb and Plague? Oh, they better spec into Ebb and Plague. If they don't, we got a problem. Yeah, no, David, I would totally go 2-piece 245 over 4-piece tier 8. That's what I have on my do I have all? I mean, Flask. That's what I have. Everybody has Fort. That's what I have my alt priest. So I have 245 legs and chest, and then on this guy I just have 258 legs and 245 chest. But yeah, I'd totally go for that. But yeah, Angle. I hope if they didn't spec into Ebb and Plague Ebb and Plague, that would be very bad for us. Gonna flame cap it up. I wonder, does flame cap benefit Rain? Might be a really small benefit to using it. I mean, I don't think. Hold on, Hunter. Oh, perfect. Hunter, I don't think, like, there's no, like, haste value you want to aim for. Oh, it sucks. Oh, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have overwritten that, Dude, go away. These bombs are... Oh, it's on me. You bastard. This is my first time ever getting a snowballed. Well, rip my Parse. Whoa, he interrupted me twice? Dude, this thing sucks. Oh, rip. It's super lame. Oh, I probably got staggering stomped. Dude, this fight sucks. Can we repull it? Well, I hope you weren't trying to see me parse this fight. Yeah, Iliad, so you don't want to... Yes, so exactly what you said. You don't want to be using 4-piece tier 9 245. You only want... you want to use double 2-piece. So that'd be 2-piece tier 9 at 245, and then 2-piece tier 8 at obviously 232. Sarth just promoted a new... Oh, God. Sarth better not be promoting that spec where they don't use it. I would vehemently tell our Unholy DKs to not run that spec. If that was the case. Damn, my flare's going to proc before we kill this guy. No, I haven't heard anything about that spec, but... God damn it, Sarth. That's obnoxious. Oh. Oh, somebody died. Who was that, Harrison? Nice. Did not get frozen. Man, this is annoying. I'm still 5th on DPS despite getting that Cobalt. Oh, that's far. I got a boots. Oh, I'm totally getting frozen here. There's so many people. See if I can avoid it. Oh, I avoided it. Hell yeah. Look at that pro move. Huge. Man, that's probably would have been a really good Parse, but I didn't get out. There it is. Never mind. There's the freeze. Can't avoid him forever. Man, that's terrible timing. Oh yeah, Parse, you didn't die. Ooh, nice. Look at this caster gear. Kind of struggling on hit. So yeah. Hold on. Pass all this. Right, Iliad. It's only worth getting 4-piece if you get 4-piece 258. But you technically need at least 3 pieces of tier 9 and 258 for it to be worth it. But then that, from my simming, that essentially breaks even with 2-piece once you have 3 pieces of 258. You're such an amazing person. I mean, I don't know about that, but thank you, Mike. I do appreciate that. Hold on, who is our unholy Valaria? Let me see. I don't know what a DK's talent tree even looks like. Which ones have been played? Oh, here it is. He has it. If he didn't, I would have been very sad. That's like 500 DPS if your unholy DK doesn't have it. Supposedly. Well, yeah, so I went to bait. I baited it with Massive Spell when he got me, and he interrupted me. But I think that there was a staggering stomp from Gormok, because I got interrupted on my next cast right after that too. So I basically got interrupted twice. But I gotta say I wasn't really paying attention to my timers, so I don't know if that's what happened. But Mike, no problem. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. What level are you? Is it fun? Talking about Diablo 4 in chat. Oh wait, what are we logging off for? Oh, because Heresy DC'd. I was like, why do we have people logged off? I guess I'll log off too. Our Druid DC'd, so we're just waiting for him to come back. I only started watching the story for the last like 20 minutes of it. Once you start hitting like the Mephisto, Baal, Diablo stuff. Alright, we're just waiting. Have we heard from him? Oh, he got a blue screen. That's what happened. This guy has like a really crap computer. So we just gotta wait for him to boot back up. He has a bad computer, he's bad internet. It's crap, I want a pad. They're not letting me pad. So I got a notification saying I disconnected from YouTube chat. So I don't. If you guys are typing, I don't know if I see anything right now. Okay, I got to 880 without trying. No. Not yet. All right, Harris, see where you at? Druid's still offline. Oh, there he is. Heresy's online. All right, we're going back. He's on phone Discord. Oh my god. Oh, this is the first Court of Tenebrous Mist that we've actually seen in the guild. We haven't had any drop in like 22 raids. I also haven't seen any Death Verdict, which is super shitty. Not had the best loot. Well, actually, we've got some pretty good loot. It's just, those are like 2 items that we just haven't seen at all. You see it almost every raid. I mean, on the bright side, it's not a huge upgrade, but yeah, this is the first one, and it's like every caster basically except fire mages want it. So that's like, well, that and whale. We've only had 2 whales so far. I have one, and I can't even use it because I need the hit from Fiery Havoc. So it's like those are our 2 caster items that we're struggling with right now for our splits. And then obviously Death's Verdict is just huge. Okay, he is back in Discord. Oh, you know, wasted a few minutes on my buffs, but whatever. You know, it's like once you get a snowball, it's just like, all right, parsing's out the window for today. We've still got your axes, though. Can we get a mage table? I did not see them. Yeah, I never got any food. All right, and we're going. Any idea why sometimes my live logs don't go to my guild? Even though I select my guild for more growth. Oh, I have no idea. Bobby, I've never uploaded a log in my life, so I couldn't troubleshoot any of that for you. What weak aura? So it's not a weak aura. It's called oh god, what's it called? Nova Raid Companion. So it's an add-on you can download, but it's really sick. It's really cool. It'll like show you a lot of useful information. there we go. Look at that flare proc.
Portal.
Oh, that lined up perfectly for the dot refresh. Nice, I did not get interrupted. Huge. Oh no, that is shit, not what I meant to do.
Run away.
Oh fuck.
Run away.
Yeah, I'm moving, relax. Ooh, 11.5k. That's pretty sick. That was really good. Why would you recast Flay on second tick? So there's two reasons why you would. The first is on your opener. So the way your opener works is, I guess I don't have it anymore. So you want 5 stacks of Shadow Weaving before you cast Shadow Word Pain. So the way that's gonna work is you start with Vampiric Touch into Devouring Plague into Mind Blast. So then each tick of Mind Flay gives 1 stack of Shadow Weaving. So you'll have your 5th stack of Shadow Weaving after 2 ticks of Mind Flay. So that's the first reason that you would interrupt it. So you got I get my 5th stack of Shadow Weaving on that 2nd tick of Mind Flay, so I cast Shadow Word Pain then. And then in the middle of a fight, you would do it because of just how it lines up with your dot timings. So the priority is essentially you always want to refresh dots. That's the most important thing, is maintaining dot uptime on the enemy for Shadowbreeze DPS. So if it lines up where, so this has a 1.18 second cast. So essentially if I get to the 2nd tick of Mind Flay and this has less than 1.18 seconds on it, I can start the cast for Vampiric Touch and it'll land on the boss after that final tick happens. So that's like perfectly timed. Or the other thing is that, if I'm channeling Mind Flay and just before the 2nd tick happens, Devouring Plague falls off, I want to recast it then. So it's essentially to just recast your dots immediately. Because dot uptime is the name of the game. Oh yeah, no problem, Michael. I love this weak aura, this add-on. It's so nice, especially if you're like an officer or a raid leader or something, just like watching Soulstones, knowing if you have B-reses and stuff. Yeah, no problem, Blake. All right, let's pump here. This will be fun. I think I'm gonna go show. Actually, screw it. So this will be. I got a rank 1, which only lasted like a day or 2, because the dude from Progress got like 2 PIs and 2 innervates. But we're gonna see how much I can pump here.
5.
I gotta be careful I don't
4,
get interrupted.
3, 2, 1.
So the way to parse this fight, it's literally, I'm not looking at the enemies at all. I'm literally...
Dispel.
Oh.
Focus.
Literally just casting VT onto everything. Having a master spell kind of sucks because that's a lot of mana. I'm already hurting for mana. I don't think it's gonna be a good one. Unless my Shadow Fiend comes in clutch. You can see I'm at like 18k. I think I peaked at like 20k when I had my highest parse. All right, mana potion, because there's no way I'm making this through without doing that. Get away from me, don't grip me. I'm like literally not paying attention to anything. I should try to do a Mind Blast to put up, what's it called? Replenishment. Oh, I'm running out of mana. I can Dark Rune.
Dispel.
I don't have the mana for that. All right, disperse some mana, and then we'll pump real quick. Oh, there's a mage. This little bastard. He doesn't show up on the frames. All right.
Dispel.
Oh, that dispel killed me. I'm so out of mana. Yeah, it's still higher than my last one, 15.9. It's not a rank 1. It's probably still a rank 2. No, I don't know if he did. I don't know if he worked on it at all. I haven't heard anything about a horde version of this. Dragon Karsh in the Shadow Priest Discord made a version that works, I believe. Made like a horde version. Swap this on now because it's not like I need Shadow Word Pain for this fight, or the glyph anyway. And I don't understand how you 4 scaling wanting how you don't have 4 melees. So I have no idea what our tanks do, but they've figured out some way where essentially like our prop heli, our warriors, whatever, are just always the one being focused. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know melee things. I think it's something they figured out in the last few weeks. Did we get any good loot outside of the first boss? Oh, that was wrong. Nope, no good caster loot. No one cares about melee things, but I wish our melees learned that trick. You know, it's not that I don't care. I value our melee so much. I just have no idea what the fuck they are doing. Was just running around insta-casting out the fight. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Like, I might have had something target me once. I never had used Fade. Like, obviously, I obviously didn't move from my spot. So I don't know. I don't know what they do. Sorry, I can't help you. But Shadow Priest pumps. It's literally all, like 75% of my damage is from Vampiric Touch. It's just hilarious. All right, we have a 45-second pull timer. I've had to him on every fight that I've done this, so I'm hoping we don't get the Dark Vortex. I am dark, sir. I'm swapping.
Five.
All right, here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh no, I forgot to focus target. Crap. That sucks. I fucked up. My weak core doesn't work, so I didn't set him as my focus. Damn it. I did this last week. So we'll see how I do on this one. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. It was a stupid mistake. Fucking Dark Vortex.
Defensive.
Dude, that got interrupted so fast. Holy crap.
Interrupt.
Damn, good damage so far. Hell yeah, 16.1k. Ooh, that was fat. Hey now. Hey now, Bobby. You know, you're right. I don't have to soak, and I love it because I get to stand still in DPS like a degenerate. Hey, that was sick though. I've never done that much damage before. Hey, what's up, Sarwi? How you doing? Long time no see. I'm back on YouTube. Actually, I think you were here last week, I want to say, when I brought YouTube back. But that was sick. It probably would have been around 16.4, 16.5 if I didn't him. Him really loses a lot of DPS. Well, actually, mine got interrupted really fast. Like, basically, as soon as I started casting it, I was already below halfway for the channel. But that was sick. Imagine if that was me not soaking. Yeah, I'm very happy I do not have to soak. I've offered to, honestly. I love parsing. I think it makes raiding fun. But like, I think I would enjoy the challenge of trying to parse and soak at the same time. You know, after I get a good parse like I just did, obviously. I don't want to be soaking the whole phase. But I do enjoy fights where there's more complex mechanics. Like, I think that would be something that's fun. Like, it would be obnoxious after a while, I'm sure. And I'm obviously talking from someone who doesn't soak, so I'm sure people who do soak would be like, you're an idiot. Why would you ever say that? And your current gear? I mean, my gear is really insane. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Mind Blast is still very good. I mean, my gear is like, I was full phase 2 bis, and then I have a 258 legs, Misery's End. I got a Rain. I have a 272 cloak. I even have Whale of the Valkyrie. I just can't use it because I need the hit from this neck. My gear is very good. So I probably wouldn't compare yourself to me unless, you know, you're also rocking 249 item level, 5500 gear score. But yeah, sorry, it's totally still worth it to cast Mind Blast. It's a strong spell. We only stop casting it, and even I don't know what the full math on it is, but not until we get 4-piece tier 10, which is when Mind Blast, or I'm sorry, Mind Flay is insanely fast.
2,
Does anything
1.
really change? Oh my god, my VT missed. That is some crap, man. Are these damage caps in effect now? Damn it.
Interrupt.
Oh, okay. 241K. We're trusting Foji here. I'm going to try to not go over 600K. And we'll see how that works, if that's possible.
Focus.
$425. All right, I'm at 476. Probably be this next set that I... Oh, where is he going? Nope, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. Can I yoink that Mind Flay tick sound? You should get Passion's Shadow Priest weak aura. Or Passion's like Shadow Sweet.
Focus.
That's a bad flare time. So if you get Passion's weak aura, you can set the sound yourself. I forget what sound I used. I downloaded it from Wowhead. You can download sounds from Wowhead. I looked for something like called Click or something. I can find the sound for you. Like, I can totally do that. Oh, now we're going. Go. Dude, Foji's the fucking man. All right, 600K. I gotta stop. Now it's like I gotta stop. Sorry guys, can't do more. Cancel help ups.
Interrupt.
Focus.
Oh, look at that timing. That was right. That was right as I used my Shadow Fiend.
Interrupt. Defensive.
Oh, I put that dot. Whoops.
Interrupt.
Man, I wish I was a Warlock. Not having execute feels so bad. All right, that was sick. We crushed that fight. Just because sometimes I lose my focus on Mind Flay and mess up a tick. Oh yeah, no, I love the sound. I really do love the sound. Ooh, deplorable violence. Nice. Yeah, well, so with the new Warcraft logs rules, it's being capped to 600K. Conquest crops. I don't know if I'll get anything today. Maybe a conch token. That'll probably be it. Hey, what's the weak word that says it's no surprise Buca de Beppo? Oh, that's I don't know. That's some like one of those food, like when you when somebody places a feast. So like mine says I forget mine says yes chef. So somebody just modified like the yes chef one to say the Buca de Beppo thing. Oh no, my Mind Flay ticks are super quiet. This Conquer Abyss. I think that was it. I mean, I'm not getting this, I don't think. But okay, I gotta go do loot. We can like hang out and do log reviews and stuff after. I just I will put on a video. You guys can watch my new video. Oh yeah, thanks for hanging out, Rams. But while we do loot, hopefully it doesn't take too long. I'll put on my new video if you haven't watched that yet. Hopefully it's not too much longer than that. It's... GG's. Oh, didn't mean to show that. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
What's up,
Let me know the
everybody,
volume
and
is.
welcome to Pance's Guide to everything
I can't
Shadow
hear
Priest
anything.
and Wrath of the Lich King. Now, there's going to be a lot to this video, so check this timestamp to see if there's anything specifically that you're looking for. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing up is talents. Now, what you have on the screen here is your standard talent setup for PvE Shadow Priest. I've used this back in.
I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, I can talk to you about
out so
that
far,
in a
whether
second.
that's Nax, Oldor,
The
Trial of the
what's it
Grand
called?
Crusader,
The
and I would
clicking
recommend
sound.
it for pretty much every single fight. Now, there are going to be fights where you want to change up some of your talents, whether to reduce your threat or reduce mana costs. But for the non-meme fights, which really those kind of are, this is what you want to use pretty much 100% of the time. Now let's talk about glyphs. For your major glyphs, you almost always want to use Glyph of Mindflay and Glyph of Shadow. These are Shadow Priest's 2 best damage dealing glyphs, and unfortunately our third slot isn't really that good. The options for your third glyph will vary by fight, but you can pretty much always use a Glyph of Dispersion, Glyph of Mindseer, Glyph of Shadow Word Pain, or Glyph of Shadow Word Death, though I don't really recommend it because Shadow Word Death is not a part of our rotation anymore and really is rarely used, so the extra 10% damage really is meaningless. For minor glyphs, you always want Glyph of Shadow Fiend because he doesn't really die that much like he used to in TBC, but it can still happen on occasion, so you might as well get that free mana back. I also like Glyph of Fortitude because it's really nice if you have to buff somebody in combat that it doesn't cost a ton of mana. And then finally, I like to use Glyph of Levitate because it really sucks if you go to press Levitate and you don't have any light feathers. Next up, let's talk about stats. Now, the basic priority here is spell hit to 17% is the first thing you want to prioritize. After getting 17% hit, then your stat priority is going to be spell power, which is greater than haste, which is greater than or equal to crit, which is going to be greater than spirit. Now, the thing about stat weights is that the amount you have of each stat is going to affect the relative stat weight of your stats. So if you have a ton of haste but not a lot of crit, that's going to make crit incrementally better than haste until you get enough of it that they start to balance out again, and then haste will become more valuable. So never just take this at face value. You always want to be simming your gear. There is no static stat weight or EP value that you can use to just say, oh, this gear is better than this gear without simming it. Now let's talk about the sim. So there's a great website called WoW Sims that allows you to sim the DPS for any character that you have. You can use this for literally any class in the game for Wrath of the Lich King. Now the thing is, you can use it to compare all kinds of pieces to each other. You can try to figure out what is the best setup using all of the gear that is available to you. Now I have a link in the video description to this website as well as a basic profile that can help get you started. You should definitely familiarize yourself with this tool because it's extremely useful and has a ton of customization. All right, now let's talk about gear. I already told you the stats that you're looking for, but what combination of those stats? So really, you're gonna want anything that has haste, crit, and spell power on it, or if it's haste, spell power, spirit, or even crit, spell power, spirit. If you're looking for pieces that have hit on them, you generally want to go for hit, haste, and spell power. But there are great trinkets out there that obviously have hit and not a lot of other stats because they'll have some effect tied to it. Now I put up a BIS list for the current phase, but if you're new to the game, this isn't really going to be applicable to you. So if you just hit 80, what you want to be doing is try to get into some Oldor 10-mans, try to do some of the hard modes there, try to get some of the sidereal or sidereal essences from the heroic beta modes that are, a little bit more difficult than your standard heroic dungeons, but you can get some really good loot from building up those essences. Some really good items that you can get from the essences are Petrified Ivy Sprig, Nebula Band, Asuga, Ice Core Staff, and Shimmering Seal. All right, now let's talk about gems. Now, the ones on your screen are going to be what you want to use for the different color combinations. But what about for socket bonuses? Do you always want to go for them? The answer is going to be it kind of depends. With the release of epic gems, you almost always want to go for the socket bonus, but there are times when you don't want to. And essentially, that's going to be anytime you have a single blue socket and a spell power buff of about 5 or less. Essentially, you'd rather put a red gem into this than a blue gem. But again, you should totally be simming the different options. Try it with one type of gem, try it with the other, and see what gets you the highest DPS. All right, now let's talk about professions for Shadow Priest. The number one profession is engineering. There is so much utility and damage tied to this. You get the hyperspeed accelerators on your gloves, you get rocket boots on your boots, and if you don't take tailoring, you will get a cloak enchant, though the tailoring enchant is better. You also get the ability to throw bombs, and I'll talk about this when we get to the rotation and the macro section. Now, tailoring just has the all-around strongest buff from any profession, but it's not always the case that you get that full value out of it. If you ever proc your cloak during an intermission, or just at the end of a phase, or if you don't happen to get it with your other cooldowns, it can be worse than what the math says it is. So it's something to keep in mind that you can get trolled by it, but it is mathematically the best option. All of the other professions pretty much have the same 46 spell power bonus, so if there's any one that you're going to take that's not tailoring or engineering, then you can just pick whichever one you like the best. Alright, now let's talk about enchants. Now on the screen, I'm just going to put what the best enchant is per slot. Now this is going to assume that you have engineering and you have tailoring as your professions. If you don't, then it's going to change things because leatherworking gets a wrist enchant, enchanting gets ring enchants, so it's going to depend on your professions, but here is the setup if you have tailoring and engineering. Now let's talk about consumables. For your food buff, you're going to want anything that gives you spell power and stamina. For your flask, you're going to want Flask of the Frostworm. And for your potion, your pre-potion is going to be Potion of Wild Magic or Potion of Speed, and your in-combat potion is going to be Potion of Speed. As your gear gets better, Potion of Speed becomes better than Potion of Wild Magic for your pre-potion, but this is something you should sim for yourself to see what works best for you. Alright, now let's talk about the Shadow Priest rotation. I do have a more in-depth video on this than what I'm going to go over here, so if you want to check that out, feel free to. But let's talk about the basics of playing Shadow Priest. Number one is that you have dot spells which do damage over time. These are really good because you can cast these and then cast other spells, and while you're casting those other spells, your dots will continue to deal damage over time to your target. So our basic rotation looks like this. Maintain all of your dots with priority being Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague, and then Shadow Word Pain. After that, use Mind Blast on cooldown and fill the rest with Mind Flay. Now if you ever have to move, you want to first use Shadow Word Death and then follow that up with Devouring Plague. Shadow Word Death is no longer used on cooldown just because it does not scale as well as our other spells, but using it for movement is great. And we use Devouring Plague after that because Shadow Word Death has a cooldown, and with our talent Improved Devouring Plague, we get a lot of upfront damage from Devouring Plague, though not quite as much as Shadow Word Death. And when you have multiple targets, you're going to want to be applying Vampiric Touch to all of these targets followed up with a Mind Steer in order to maximize your AoE damage. So this is known as multi-dotting when you're juggling dots on multiple targets. Now if you have too many targets to apply dots to, you may just want to Mind Steer. Generally, the limit is around 4 to 5 targets where you don't apply Vampiric Touch and you just Mind Steer. That's all you need to do to maximize your damage. Any more than that, and you absolutely want to just Mind Steer. Now, the important thing with the dots is to make sure that the enemies live long enough to benefit from the dot. So if they're going to die in about 5 seconds, it's not worth applying a dot that's going to take 15 seconds for it to deal its full amount of damage. So in that case, you just want to use any spell you can to deal some quick damage, whether that's Mind Flay, Mind Blast, Shadow Word Death, or Devouring Plague for that instant damage. Now I want to give a quick overview of the different tier sets for Shadow Priest in Wrath of the Lich King. Now tier 7 is pretty much garbage, so if you're coming back to the game now, you have a new freshly leveled 80 Shadow Priest, just ignore this tier set. Don't try to get it from any dungeons or anything. The first one you'd want to focus on is tier 8. Tier 8 is actually really strong. Both the 2-piece and the 4-piece are really good and made Shadow Priest fairly competitive in the Ulduar raid tier. Now moving on to what we have right now in tier 9, the 2-piece is actually pretty good, but the 4-piece is very lackluster. Now, most realistic BIS sets actually have a combination of 2 pieces of tier 8 as well as 2 pieces of tier 9. Now, item level 232 tier 9 is just worse than 232 item level tier 8, so you should never use that. The only way you should go 2-piece is if you use 2 pieces of 245 item level tier 9 or higher. Since the 4-piece from tier 9 is really bad, you only use it in an absolute BIS setup when you have 4 pieces of 258 tier 9 from the regalias that you get at the end of 25-man heroic Trial of the Grand Crusader. Shadow Priest is extremely low priority on these tokens, so it's very unlikely that you'll get this before the end of the phase, so I would really just try to focus on a 2-piece setup for this phase as a realistic setup. Now tier 10 is going to be awesome. The 2-piece bonus is nothing to write home about, but the 4-piece bonus is insanely strong. I think at its lowest item level, it's about a 1200 DPS upgrade when we get the 4-piece, and at the highest item level of tier, it can be anywhere from a 15 to an 1800 DPS upgrade, maybe even higher as the Sims are still trying to figure it out.
So
But
should be
it
done
is
soon.
incredibly powerful and is going to make Shadow Priest one of the most competitive single target DPS in ICC. Now let's talk about add-ons. My favorite add-ons for Shadow Priest include Plater, which is an awesome nameplate add-on to track your dots on your targets as well as any debuffs they might have. Elf UI, which is pretty much just a do-it-all add-on. This controls my action bars and pretty much the entire just organization on my screen. I use Quartz as my cast bar, and this is because I can track my Mind Flay ticks. It's extremely important that you never clip a Mind Flay too early. You might want to clip it to do a 2-tick Mind Flay sometimes, but you never want to clip it just before a tick is about to happen because that's going to lose you a lot of damage over the course of a fight. You only want to cancel it after that tick has happened, or you want to cast a spell immediately following the 3rd tick of damage. And having a cast bar that tracks your Mind Flay ticks makes this a lot easier to do. And then of course, weak auras. There are so many great weak auras, and I'll have a few in the video description of what I recommend to get started, but you can customize your entire UI around having really amazing weak auras that pretty much tell you everything you need to know, not just even about playing Shadow Priest, but about encounters or what your enemy might be doing. Now let's talk about macros. I also have a video going in depth on macros, so feel free to check that out if you want a more in-depth version than what I'm going to present here. But on the screen, I'm going to show you some of my favorite macros, and you can also find them in the video description, so feel free to take them for yourself. Now, the most important macro that I would suggest to pick up would be a dispersion cancel aura. Sometimes you don't always want it to last the full length, so you want to be able to cancel it early, but you should not put this cancel aura macro onto the dispersion cast itself. It's very easy to double tap that button and cancel it when you did not mean to, so just be careful about which button that you put it onto. And if you're interested in hearing about a no channeling Mind Flay macro, then definitely check out my other video where I go into detail about why this may be good or bad for you just depending on how you play the game and what your latency might be, because that really does affect it. Now when it comes to races as a Shadow Priest, the absolute best one to pick if your horde is going to be Troll. Now Troll is just the best overall, but obviously if you're Alliance you cannot be a Troll. So I would recommend you go Troll if you're trying to maximize your DPS just overall, as Berserking is an extremely strong cooldown. If you're Alliance, then you have your choice between Human or Draenei, and I would highly recommend Draenei, as the 1% hit to have is really nice. Now if you have a Draenei in your group, then you will get the 1% hit from the racial bonus anyway. But Human really only maxes out at around 20 DPS better than Draenei, so I would prefer to have the consistency of always having that hit buff than only having it sometimes if you have a Draenei in your group. So that's something to think about when choosing your race. But if you want to play a Dwarf or Undead, go for it. Just know that you're going to be missing out on a little bit of damage that you could get by playing another race. And that's all I have for you. Now, if you did enjoy this content, please give me a like and subscribe, as it helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate all the support that I can get from you beautiful people. Now, if there is anything that I didn't quite cover in this video, I have other videos that go a lot more in depth into different topics, or you can leave a comment here or message me on Discord and I'll be happy to help you out. Anyway, that's all for this video. My name's Pantsface, and I'll see you in the next one.
Sorry, we'll just leave Crip on for right now. Almost done. Sorry, guys.
I have to throw them in one at a time, which is kind of annoying.
Okay. We're just giving out the last 2 trophies real quick. Oh, whoops. Don't want that playing. Sorry, let me get oriented. I always like move around everything when I do my screen like that. Cool. I want to take a look at my logs real quick. That was a really good raid. That was very good. Hey, what's up, Sawyr? Or Thayer? Thayer? That's a... I don't know if my mouth can pronounce that word. Sorry, about the rotation. Shouldn't it be VT, DP, Mind Flay, then Shadow Word Pain to maximize Shadow Word Pain damage from the 5 stack of Shadow? Yeah, the only difference is that I said VT, DP, Mind Blast, and then a 2-tick Mind Flay, then Shadow Word Pain. So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You're still getting 5 stacks of Shadow Weaving. It's just trading out 1 tick of Shadow or of Mind Flay for a Mind Blast. That's all. Okay, we could do like log reviews or something. If you guys want a log review, you can like throw your character's name into chat. I want to take a look at my logs real quick. So this one's gonna suck because I got a Kobold or Snowballed, whatever they're called. Let me switch Discord channels. Let's see. How was Jiraxis? Jiraxis was 11.5. That was pretty good. That was my best by a few hundred DPS. So I want to look at my logs, then we can look at you guys' logs. This is like, I don't want to say the most exciting part of the raid, but makes it fun. I want you to check mine. I want to improve. Yeah, go for it. What's your character's name, Sarwi? It's okay, so that was fine. This is pretty close to my previous rank 1. I think I was around 15.7. So Faction Champions is just ridiculous with spamming Vampiric Touch. Cool. That was fun. Twin Valks, pretty sick. I think my highest before this was like 14.6k. So like that was a massive improvement. Hey, what's up, Kevin? You caught us right at the end. Can't bow. You were second behind Sarwi, so I'll take a look at Sarwi's logs first, and then depending what time it is, take a look at yours too. Hold on. Why do I not hear? Are people talking? You know, let me just mute myself in Discord. That way I don't need to worry about it. All right, but this was cool. This was a sick log. This was like my best by a lot. And to like beat all the warlocks is pretty fun because I always do like crazy damage on this fight. And then a noob. A noob's funny. So like my burrower damage was super low. Like this was 10k right on the dot. And my burrower damage was actually really low. I was like 10.1k when I did 200k more damage to the burrowers. So basically whatever I just did is what I want to keep doing because that's really good. That's still like a top 10 parse. Even with having such little burrower. I don't know, when they take out like that 74k burrower damage, I don't know how that'll pan out, but should still be pretty good. Thanks, Sayer. Thayer? Oh my god, I cannot say that for my life. But thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, raid was awesome, Kevin. I got my second 258 piece. So we were just looking at logs. Logs just were absolutely incredible. What did I do differently on a noob? I spent a little bit less time mind searing and single targeted a noob more. So basically, when I hit the 600k cap, was on the 3rd set of ads when a noob was around 35 to 40% HP. So like we still wanted to kill them. This is where I put the guild before my own parse. I didn't swap out the ads immediately. I did another 70k damage to them, which is probably like another Mind Flay and a half. Or I'm sorry, Mind Sear and a half. But I did that when I could have just single targeted a noob. The DP Weekoro, I can share that with you. That is really awesome, by the way. I highly recommend it. But essentially, it'll tell you when basically your stats are higher enough than your stats when you casted your last Devouring Plague, so that you can recast it as a DPS upgrade. Now, you're supposed to cast it like right after a tick happens, but I have no idea how to do that. I mean, there are add-ons that can track your ticks and stuff, but they're very messy, and I don't really want that on my screen, so I just send it when I see the add-on pop up. I had 99 logs in Old War. I mean, if you had, I don't know if I can get you from 95 to 99. But okay, let's take a look at Sarwi's first. And then we can go from there. So depending how much time this takes. Sarwi. Are you Gehennis? Firemaw? Is this you, Sarwi? If so, your logs are pretty good. Awesome. Cool. Any fight in particular, or do you want me to just pick one at random? I'll let you choose if you have a preference. Let me get some music going. You want me to just pick? Okay. Do you want, okay, I guess the one other question I'd ask is, do you want like a single target focus? Do you want multi-dotting? Because like Jiraxis is like a pretty good single target fight. Northrend Beast multi-dotting. A noob is a little bit in the middle. It's kind of got a both. Let's look at where you can improve. You're soaking on Twin Valts, right? So then we can take a look at a noob, because I feel like, okay, these two parses are pretty good. Let's take a look at a noob. That's probably where we can make the most headway here. July 20th. Let's take a look at this one. All right, cool. All right, burrower damage. So, oh, sorry. I had a cough snuck out of nowhere. This is a weird one, because like I don't know if to critique this off of 900k, which is when you were doing this fight, 900k was the cap, but now that it's getting reduced to 600k, I mean, I guess I'll talk about it as if it's, you know, because 600k is going to be the new cap on ads. So like if you're not aware, Warcraft Logs has said that the cap is going to be 600k for burrower damage. So you can see how, actually I don't know how, if this is too small for you guys. I always forget like my monitor's super big and I'm like right in front of it. But you can see he had 765k. So it's kind of like right in the middle. So before this change, he would have wanted to be around 900k damage to the burrowers. But with this new change, you want to scale it back and do 160k less damage to him. So even though you played this fight thinking that the cap was 900k, and I don't know if you were like aiming for a cap or a number, I would assume probably not. I'm going to evaluate this as if what we want to do is 600k. But it's weird because, okay, didn't know really. Cool. So you were just playing the fight, which I think that this is going to be typical. I think if you play the fight the way your guild wants to, you're absolutely going to go over the 600k cap, because Shadow Priest is really good at doing damage to the burrowers, because you put up a VT as they come in, and then you can Mind Sear off of an ad. Like, you don't lose a ton of damage on the boss itself while you're searing the ads. Like here, hold on, let me just take a look at mine real quick. Sorry, not to make this all about me, but I'm actually I kind of want to see what my noob damage is like on this last one. So 10k. Let me zoom out again. Let's go to a Nubarak. So you can see like I was ahead of all of our locks except for one of them. I guess these are alts. I mean, Sirs isn't. And then specifically here, yeah, damn, my damage is crazy. Okay. See, my damage to the boss is awesome. And then if we look at the burrowers and view unfiltered damage, like obviously these guys went over 900k, but like I'm doing great damage on the boss and great damage on the burrowers. So Shadow is really good with Mind Sear. If you pick one of the ads, you know, in the, hold on, let me, like if you pick one of the ads that like, if this is a noob and these are your two ads and these are your two ads, you pick the one that's the closest to a noob. like the closest to the center of his hitbox, and you mind sear off of that, you can hit 3 ads on a noob. Okay, so how do you keep track of that? That's a good point. This is the week where I only got yesterday. But Foji, who is just an absolute genius, has this a noob ad tracker. So I don't know if you noticed this when I was fighting, but I was like referencing this bar essentially that was creeping up as I did damage. So that's how I knew how much damage I did to them. So let me, oh, sorry. Close that, get you this link. I'll throw this into chat for you. So I would have that weak aura, and then I guess I'll put that into YouTube too. It's kind of annoying having 2 chats. But for anybody who, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're trying to min-max your damage on this fight. I think it's going to be, as Shadow, you're very easily going to hit that 600k cap. So I think it kind of depends if your damage is needed for the ads or not. Like if other people are going to pick up the slack when you're targeting the boss, that's great. If they're not, then this could be kind of like, I don't know. That's for you to try to figure out the best way. Okay. Anyway, that's enough on that. But I do want to say that like searing off of an ad to hit a noob and 3 other ads is really good damage. Okay. Now something that I'm going to do just for comparison is I want to look at my logs versus yours. Cause like it's a lot easier for me to think about the fight when I just like see my damage versus yours. Okay, cool. So what I want to see, so you have pretty chunky Mind Sear. Why? So I guess my initial question would be, why not Mind Sear? So I have 2 Mind Sear bumps. So it's like you can see VT goes up with the ads, and then so does Mind Sear. You're definitely VTing them all as they run in. You only Mind Sear the first one, which I mean is fine from a damage perspective. I guess I'm surprised that you don't Mind Sear here. I don't know if you have a particular reason for that. I think maybe the hard thing about evaluating a noob logs is like, you kind of need to be there for it. Like the other fights, I think you can actually get a lot out of the logs. This might not be the best fight to look at, sorry. Let me pull this up though. I've never really evaluated a noob before, so that's why I'm like figuring this out as we go. But like just a quick look at everything is that like, you know, your mind flay delay is a little bit high. Yeah, right. So you're responding to what your raid leader calls for in terms of damage. Okay, so let me think about this if there's a better one to do. For the low price of $69.69, Fanspace will VOD review your very own log. No. It would be $69.420. Come on. I'm kidding. I would never charge for this. Kappa. Yeah, okay. Sorry, we're not going to do a noob. I think a noob has too many things that can change based on your raid. So even though that's where you, I guess like just general things that we can talk about, is, hold on, sorry, it's my log. So general things like keep VTing as they run in. That's really good damage. And I would always recommend that. When you're mind searing, so if we look at a noob, do you hit him with mind sear? So you don't. So if you're not hitting a noob with mind sear, that essentially means that you're mind searing off of a noob to hit the ads. I would highly recommend, like, and this is going to depend on your tank positioning. You want to mind sear off of a burrower, so that for 2 reasons why you want to mind sear off of a burrower. 1, it's always better just to do damage to a noob. Like you want to be damaging the boss with everything that you do. And Mind Sear doesn't hit that much weaker than Mind Flay. It's absolutely weaker. But it still does decent damage to a noob. And then the second thing is that you will approach the cap on the burrower slower if you're Mind Searing off of an ad, because if you're hitting 4 targets, you're hitting 3 ads plus a noob. Instead of if you sear off of a noob, you're hitting 4 ads. So you're doing less damage to the ad while still hitting 4 targets. So it's a way to try to game the system a little bit, so that you're still hitting 4 targets with Mind Sear, but building up to that 600k cap slower. So that's what I would recommend. I think just general cursory glance is that your Mind Flay, it's not the worst. Your delay, you could definitely lower that. I think you had asked about the sound weak aura. So hold on, let me find this. So Passion Priest. So Passion Priest Suite. He actually made, put this into chat too. He has a Mindflay tick timer, or I'm sorry, tick sound in here. That if we go into Passion Priest Suites, oh wait, let's open this up. So Mindflay ticker. Essentially, the way this works is, so assign sound on condition 1. Let's go to condition 1. So the way this works is essentially you have this sound file path. So interface add-ons, weak or custom, chat scroll button. So now this was in my add-ons folder. This was a folder I custom made, weak or custom. That's just what Passion calls it. So if you download this weak or, make a folder in your add-ons folder called weak or just WA space custom. And then the chat scroll button, that's the sound that I have. I downloaded this from Wowhead. So you can download in-game sounds from Wowhead because Wowhead's essentially just a database for everything World of Warcraft. And they just display it to you. So you can download sounds. I don't know if you can get video files, probably not. Anyway, you can look at their different sound files, and this is the sound that I went with. It's really quiet. Let me go find an enemy, and you can hear it. I really like the sound. I think it helps a lot. And I had one raid last week where I clipped like crazy. I had a very bad raid. So that's why I like switched up my sounds and stuff. All right, let's So that noise is the sound that I got. So I really like it. I think it's not super loud, but it's like annoying enough that I notice it. And I think it's gonna help. My average Mindflay delay is, depending on the fight, anywhere from like 80 to 100. If I'm having an off day, it might be 120. That's like 120 is pretty much if I feel like I've been clipping a lot and I want to take it slower to like wait a little bit extra time to make sure that I like don't clip, like cast a spell before my third tick of Mindflay, then I'll be around like 120. Because that happened to me also last week. Last week was a weird week for me. I had one fight where I clipped my Mindflay like 30 times and I lost 500 EPS. And I was just like, what the hell happened? And then I have fights where I clip like once. What about Mind Blast in the rotation? So nothing changes. So you want to cast it on cooldown. This thing is going to die. I should go find a target dummy. Let's do that. Nothing changes with Mind Blast. So, yes, it did get a lot of value from the tier 8 4-piece. But that was not the reason that we casted Mind Blast on cooldown. Like we casted Mind Blast on cooldown before we got tier 8 4-piece. And we continue to do so. So what's the closest one? I think Iron Forge is closest. But yeah, so your rotation basically stays the same. You still cast Mind Blast on cooldown. You still want to, if it comes off cooldown, you might want to do a 2-tick Mind Flay to cast it sooner. Nothing really changes with Mind Blast, is what I would say. So I think for you, it kind of sounds like it's more of like a single target rotation that you're still trying to figure out. Although like your logs look very good from a single target perspective. Like your beasts. How do I have 2 of my logs up now? What did I do? I think that was the wrong tab. Hold on. Here we go. Let's go to Northern Beast. Was this a good one for you? I think your highest was higher than that. Go back to your main page. Yeah, 95. So your beast is pretty good. Yeah, the second boss is totally RNG. If you get hit with a silence, if she jumps on you, which gives you a few seconds of not being able to cast, this fight's really annoying. Was this your best true access? I thought... Oh, 84. I thought it was higher than that. Did I misread that? 92. Interesting. It says 92 on the main page, but shows 84 here. So 9.2k. Let's see. Did you get silenced? It's kind of the big thing. It doesn't look like you did. Debuffs. No Mistress's Kiss. Oh, the fire thingy. So I don't know. Were you paying attention when I got the fire thing on Jirax's? Essentially, what I did, I stood in it for a little bit, but like, like what I did was, here, I'll just like do my rotation. Like, you know, I got the thing. I'm doing my rotation. It drops a fire. Maybe move, cast a Devouring Plague, move here, stay, get hit. You know, Shadow or Death, run, and like, you need to move maybe twice. This is classic, not retail. Hey, I'm new here. Help me. I'm gonna sub and like a bro. I'm Shadow Breach 442. Yeah, Dark. This is not retail. But I did play retail for a while, but then not in like a month or something. I mean, I don't. What the fuck did I do overall? I think I was like 120, 130, but like my gear wasn't. I think I was like 428 eye level. Sorry, Dark. I can't really help you. It's been a while since I played retail. But there's a guy, what's his name? Oh, Temper, TEMPR. I would go check him out, Dark. He's got some good Shadow Priest content for retail. And I think he does like guides and coaching and stuff. So you should check him out. That's his name. But yeah, so sorry, when you get a fire debuff like that, you just want to like, you stutter step essentially. So what stutter stepping is, it's like as you're casting, you move. So it's like you use an instant cast spell and you run during that global. So you can see that like as my global cooldown happens, so like the clock thing on my icons, that's when you move. So move and then cast. And then move and then cast. So you take advantage of instant cast spells to get out of mechanics. So I would highly recommend practicing that. I think that's the same thing on like the fires that the snowballs throw on beasts, is that, you know, when you're standing in a fire, you don't need to get out of it instantly. Like you don't need to just like run for 4 seconds to get out of it. You can, you know, take a step, use Devouring Plague, take another step, use Shadow or Death. And they don't even need to be back to back. Like your healers should be able to heal you for 3 seconds if you take your time getting out of there. But that's what I would suggest. So I think movement is really important to practice. And just making sure you're taking advantage of instant cast spells while doing it. Like you can just run and just keep spamming Devouring Plague like this. Like you'll do damage. Not the best thing to do, but if that's what it takes, that's better than nothing. Okay, let me pull your logs back up. So your mistresses. Okay, so what I would recommend is putting a Vampiric Touch and Shadowward Pain. So you can definitely get away with both of them. And hold on, let's see when this thing dies, this mistress. It's like a lot of Jiraxis is really taking advantage of add damage. And obviously there's RNG to it, but we'll just assume that the RNG, you don't get it for a fight. So how can we just kind of ignore it for a second? So if we go to resources, health, hit points, enemies, and then Mistress of Pain. Okay, so she dies at 51. She spawned at 27. That's alive for a long time. Yeah, adds absolutely count on your parse. So 27 to 51. So it seemed like your Vampiric Touch fell off when she was about to die. So that's like, it's fine that you didn't refresh it, but you totally should have had Shadowward Pain going alongside of this. Because we can actually, let's look at mine, because I had, okay, now I don't have any of my logs. I had one mistress come up today. So we can see how much that one Shadowward Pain did. Jiraxis. Mistress. So this one Shadowward Pain did 10k damage. So that's good for a single global. It's not the best. But the other thing is it makes your Mind Flay stronger. So there is a benefit to it, and use Mind Flay to refresh Shadow Word Pain. That's why I casted a Mind Flay on her. So this is like your one global spend on Shadow Word Pain is better than spending it on like a Mind Blast or something. Like you get more damage from this. Well, assuming you don't crit, but like some RNG into it. But I would definitely have both of your dots up on the mistresses. And like you can see, I think ours lived for about the same time. Yours came around 20 and died around 50. Mine was the same thing, but you can see my damage, it just goes on for a little bit longer. But yeah, you totally want to be taking advantage of the ads. And speaking of which, let's look at the infernals, or not the volcano. Okay, so this is interesting. So you have 4 casts, so you probably had 4 of them. I would never put Shadow Word Pain on these guys. They die too fast. They have like 300k HP, while the Mistress has about 800k HP. So the Mistress is going to live for a lot longer than the Infernals. So I don't... You can see your average cast did 12k. So that actually seems like it was worth it. Because that's more than what I got on the Mistress. So maybe your raid was slow to kill these guys. So I guess it kind of depends on your raid. I think I would recommend, though, just doing Vampiric Touch, like one Vampiric Touch on all of them, and then going back to the boss. There is something that people do where instead what you can do is you can Mind Sear if you have the Glyph of Mind Sear. And if you time it right, and if everything's kind of positioned together, you can essentially hit Jiraxis in like 3 of the ads. I don't know that I'd recommend that. I know that people have done that for parsing. And let's take a look at your Jiraxis damage. So it definitely falls off when you're dotting. Let me see. How does mine look? All enemies, Jiraxis. Okay, so I mean, mine fell off pretty heavily right there. So I go up to 15k and then I'm hovering around 10. Yeah, I feel like your single target rotation just needs a little bit of work. Like obviously where there are ads, your damage falls off. I think here you spent just too much time putting dots up on the other ads. You should have been focusing Jiraxis a little bit more. Like I wonder if we check out your dot up time. So average downtime 1.3. That's actually not that bad. Average downtime 1.2. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe you're or let's make sure we're looking at your axis. Average downtime 1.3. Okay, 1.2. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're actually your dots are pretty good. Now I'm curious on mine. So mine's 1.1, basically the same. 0.9. I mean, I'm very slightly faster than you on the dots, but I don't think that matters. Yeah, I think overall you're actually your dots look good. There seems to be I have too many tabs open. I'm like losing track. Yeah, I think and your Mind Flay delay is not even that bad. I think it's really. Oh wait. I think so. Like these. I mean, it's hard for me to fault these. Like your damage is actually pretty good out of them. But okay, actually, this is a good point. So the Nether Portal and the Infernal Volcano. I'm like trying to think in my head if these were worth casting. I think they were because they also buff. Like if we look at the Nether Portal. Oh wait. All spells. So your Nether, so this tick twice, it buffs your Mind Flay by 10%, so like 10% or 20% actually. So 20% of your Mind Flay damage goes into this essentially. Yeah, I think that actually probably was worth casting on the Nether Portal. How about the Volcano? Similar. I think this is pretty similar to like how much damage you would have gotten out of just like casting Mind Flay instead. So it's hard for me to say that it's wrong. Oh, it's 4 a.m. in Moscow? Oh, thanks for hanging out. If you join next week, I can totally get a log reviewing for you. Sorry it's so late. But thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. Should you change your rotation? Oh, we can take a look at your opener. So let's go to timelines. Okay, so Shadow Fiend, good. Devouring Plague, VT. You do VT, DP, Mind Flay. I mean, I think you could move up Mind Blast. Like, I would suggest, I would say go Mind Blast before Mind Flay. So what you want your opener essentially to be is Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague, Mind Blast, 2-tick Mind Flay, and then Shadow Word Pain. So that's pretty much always the case. So you should sim yourself because it's like, you know, a log review is like, there's so much more to it than just logs. Oh, and I want to look at your gear too. We should do that. If I look at my gear, so this is with precasting. Oh, it's in rotation. Mind Blast right now. So if we change this to VT, actually, I thought it was VT. Okay. Oh, so it's like 560 PS. So it doesn't really matter which one I cast. I think it's kind of, that has to do with Bloodlust timings. It doesn't really affect me. But you should sim your gear and see if there is a difference on Vampiric Touch versus Mind Blast. Oh, you got a flare? Congrats, Lucas. That's awesome, man. 5.3k gear score. Well, it's not the gear score that I care about. Hold on. I just lost your locks again. No, that's not it. Here we go. What's your most recent one? July 20th. This is today. Cool. Okay. So, okay, gems, you have one not epic gem. That's fine. I would, you know, recommend you make it epic, but like not a big deal. Oh, you this belt. It's a very good belt. Oh, okay. Here we go. 431 hit rating. That is way too much. Why do you have 431 hit rating? I would highly recommend trying to sort that out. If you can get like an Algalon cloak, or even, you know, any other cloak that doesn't have hit, that has haste or spirit or haste spell power crit, get rid of these gloves if you can. I mean, these gloves aren't bad, but it's not good for an offset item. So you have 3 pieces of tier 8 and then 2 of tier 9. So you want a better offset item. So you could go for the shoulders could be a Mies of Oh, you don't understand simming? I have a video on it. I don't want to walk through it right now just because there's a lot to it. Watch my video on it, and then you can message me on Discord. Here, wait, this is my Discord name, pants.face. Just message me on Discord after you watch it if you have any questions, and I can help you with it. I don't want to go through it now because I want to do another log review after yours. But and I still need to like eat dinner and stuff. But I think, and then I just kind of want to go through your gear real quick. So there's huge optimizations we can make here. So your horde, since you have Zabras, you want to have 289 hit. So we want to get rid of 140 hit. And I would say that starts. So these boots are not very good. Crit hit spell power. If you can get anything else, it's not just item level to worry about. Like, I don't know, the 232 crafted ones might be better. That's something where we would have to sim it. So I don't want to tell you that those are better. The tailoring one. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if those are strictly better. Whiskey is just kind of like a first come first serve type of thing. But I'll do them after streams. I think I already got someone else lined up after Sarwi, and then I'm probably going to call it for a night. But if you come back next week, I can definitely get you in. Oh, you have Algalon Cloak? Okay, so totally use the Algalon Cloak instead of Drape Immortal Downfall. It's so much better, especially like without the hit. And then I would say maybe not. Yeah, no problem, Whiskey. Happy to help. It's more of like a time constraint than anything. And then if you get better boots, are you aware about any kind of spirit stacking and relying on talents for lively crit? No, so favorless. It's funny you mentioned that today in the Shadowpriest Discord. They're talking about it in the Real Theory Crafting channel. I don't know that there's been any explicit math done with it, but I'm pretty sure that's not worth it. So essentially his question was, is it worth it to use like inner focus on a mind blast to try to force a crit so that you get the improved spirit tap proc or like whatever it is that gives you an extra, I don't know, it's like 50 spell power or something. I think the general consensus is it's not worth it, if I could talk appropriately. But no, I think I've never done it. I think, let me see if Lanello updated anything in the Shadowpriest Discord. But they were talking about it earlier today. I don't think so though. And then yeah, so sorry, I just think we just have some like gearing things to figure out. Like your gear is actually really good. You have some really good items. But if we could get you some different non-hit boots, and if we could get you a better off-piece item, so if you have the shoulders, so a mise of the something, I forget what it's called. Oh, that's the wrong thing. So essentially, if we could get a mise of inconceivable horror, would be a nice off-piece item. If we could get Aura of Transcendence, which is from Oni 25 man, those would be really nice DPS increases for you. And then different boots. So there are 245 boots. So there's, oh, you have the head? Oh, if you have the head, then you should totally use it. Let me go back to your gear. Yeah, because you have 3 pieces of tier 8. Yeah, so use that head. That's going to be a DPS upgrade for you. Absolutely. Okay, so use the head, put on the Algalon cloak, and then if you can get some better boots, because that's probably your worst. Like looking at the hit items you have, everything is really good except for these. So if we could find a way to get rid of this, it's just kind of hard. So I don't know if Spellslingers is probably an upgrade, but again, that's something that you would need to sim. Actually, I could probably just, my character is not going to be the same. But watch my simming video, and then we can try to figure out what boots for you. But Spellslingers might be an upgrade. I'm not sure. Belts of the Grieving Soul are essentially the same thing, but they just have spirit instead of hit. So if you could get those at a 10 man, that would be an upgrade. What's Sand Fury? I don't even know. Oh, it's Starlight? Yeah. So the Saviors, whatever those are called, Starlight Treads. Yeah, that would totally be better to use. Absolutely. If you have those, I would use those instead. Yeah, but I think we can get some solid DPS out of you just by fixing your gear up a little bit. And then obviously fix that one epic gem, I think. Actually, that might have been in an item we're replacing, was it? Yeah, that was in the Drape of Mortal Downfall. So don't worry about this gem here, because you're going to be swapping out cloaks anyway. Yeah, I think that'll get you some nice DPS. Probably like 100, 150 DPS just from changing gear, if not more. You need 289 hit. So since you're a troll, or since you're horde, rather, you don't get that 1% extra hit from being alliance. Wait, what? What is this log? Is this how all beast logs look? No. Your beast logs look weird. It's like 30 seconds of no damage, but like... Warmock. Weird. Okay, I guess any other major questions of things that I didn't cover? I know that was kind of like a weird log review. I think gear, most importantly, is probably your easiest route to increasing your damage. And then your Mind Flay tick sound. I think that's really important. And then just making sure as you're dotting things, you're not forgetting about your main target. I think that your damage on Jirax, it seems like it kind of falls off a little bit too much when there's ads. But again, it might just be because you have a lot of ads. Like those Infernals can be really annoying if you have a lot of them up. So it kind of just more depends on how your raid's handling it. So I can't necessarily criticize you for that. Yeah, and like honestly, that happened to me. I lost Jiraxis on the fight today when I was swapping between targets. I was trying to tab and I couldn't find him. So it happens, and it's kind of annoying. Try to need to figure out if you want to tab target, if you want to click. Lots of different ways to approach that. Okay. So we can move on to Campo. So Excedrin is your character, Gehennes. Yeah, and sorry, if you have any other questions, you feel free to message me on Discord too. I guess. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Oh, you've solid logs. Nice 99. I guess any fight in particular. I guess Campo, are you still here? Oh, you are here. Awesome. What is the hit soft cap for Alliance? You want to be at 10% as Alliance, so that's 262 rating. So I think on my priest here, I'm 265. I think I'm 261 on my other priest, but you want to be 262. Sale, unfortunately you missed the chance for a log review today, but if you come during a live stream next week, I can fit you in. So I'm just, after we were finished rating, I'm just asking if anybody wants a log review, and then it's just kind of like first come, first serve, whoever puts them up. Oh, and Bobby, yes, infernal damage counts for your parse. All ads count for your parse. They didn't change anything for Jiraxis. But sorry, Campo, let me pull your logs back up. Here we go. Nope, this is not it. Okay. There we go. Twins you're soaking, watch them while okay. But Jiraxis mainly, I do around 500, 700 DPS less than people with your eye level. Okay, cool. Yeah, your gear is pretty solid. You're actually not too far off of my character. Cool. Okay, let's take a look at Jiraxis. I was about to say, did you do the same exact DPS twice? I mean, these are actually pretty close though. Okay, yeah, we'll look at this log. Cool. Yeah, 246. Your gear is definitely very good. I guess before we let's just take a look at your gear, make sure everything. Okay, 312 hits, kind of a lot. So if you had like 20 hit, you could drop. Let's make sure you don't have a hit gem in here. Okay, so one thing I would do is get rid of this hit gem in your belt. You have 2 hit gems in your belt. So that's actually perfect because since you're Horde, if you're at 292 hit rating, so essentially, oh, you regem today. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Then you already took care of that. Cool. We can skip that one then. Awesome. Yeah, I think overall your gear looks really good. Band of the Invoker, not the best ring, but honestly not that bad. Like, it's pretty decent. It's like one of the only decent badge items. Trinkets obviously very good. Yeah, okay. No real complaints on your gear. Okay, let's look at you, and then let me open up the analyzer. Excedrin, Jiraxis. I think for this one, I definitely want my logs to compare. Because you're not too far off. You're a little bit less geared, a little bit slower kill times, but like really not too far off. Okay, I mean, this was actually a really fast kill for us, so maybe we'll go to this one instead. Okay. Let's see how your damage curve looks versus mine. Okay, so I think you have a steeper drop off when you're dotting the ads. And that's kind of what that looks like to me right here. So I'm assuming your damage to the ads. I am doing log reviews at the moment, but this is probably gonna be my last one. I still need to like eat dinner and stuff. So if you want a log review, just come hang out during stream. And at certain points, you know, whether there's like a break between raids or just after raids, I'll ask if anybody wants one. And it's just kind of first come, first serve. Okay, so this is exactly what I thought. So it looks like your damage really falls off of Jiraxis here as you're dotting the ads. So like, let's take a look at your Jiraxis damage. It's just kind of a straight decline. And then if we look at mine here, I guess mine is too. I think mine rebounds a little bit stronger. So we each peak around 20K. And then I dip down to, I guess probably about 5K, or maybe like 7. You also dip down here, but it seems like you don't quite come back up the same way I do here. So let's see. Let's take a look at your Devouring Plague. Okay. So let's go into here. I think there's some like dot uptime issues. VT average dot downtime 1 second. That's not bad. 0.7. But you clipped. Do you use the Devouring Plague like recast weak aura? It looks like you might be. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's why you're recasting here. Here with Lust, here with Potion and Hyperspeed Accelerators, and here with Trinket. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Jiraxis, your downtime's fine. Okay, so it's not a dot downtime issue. Let's take a look at Mind Flay. I mean, you have some early clips. I mean, you did lose 170 DPS by clipping 7 times. So that's kind of the annoying thing. Oh yeah, I can link this for you. Sure. Yeah, so the clipping, that's going to be huge. Like, hold on, let me show you a really bad log of mine. This happened last week. I played terribly last week. It's wild. Let me sort by date. Yeah, this one. You can see my damage is a lot lower than what I was doing. This one I played so badly. But the point is that you can lose a ton of damage by clipping. Jiraxis. Yeah, I clipped 16 times. I lost almost 500 DPS from this. Like average Mind Flay delay, that's cool if it's 50, but like I'm losing so much more damage than I'm gaining by having a fast clip. And Parse is 99. You know, anybody can improve. I don't care who you are. Well, parsing 99 has a lot to do, not just with how you play. There's like other factors like how geared is your raid, how fast are your kill times, how strong is your demonic pack buff. There are other things that are just kind of outside of your control. But my point is that clipping Mind Flay is very dangerous for your DPS. And you want to avoid that as much as you can. I mean, your delay is not bad. Honestly, 150 is fine. I would say this, try to be more methodical. Because I mean, this is, you know, almost 200 DPS right off the bat. That you lose for no reason, essentially. You waited so much. Like you waited the full amount of time almost to get this tick of damage. And you're just missing it. You're just casting your spell a little bit too early. So I think it's really important to not have early clips. 2 ticks to recast dots counts as clipping, right? How much can you trust that? What do you mean? No, so clipping, the way clipping works in this is, it doesn't mean if you do a 2-tick Mind Flay. What it means is if you do a 2-tick Mind Flay, actually I can kind of show it in game real quick. So if I do a 2-tick Mind Flay, but my cast, like you see how I'm going to just take a step back. You see how it's going to be closer to the 3rd tick than the 2nd when I cancel it? That's essentially what this means, is that I am closer to the next tick of damage than the previous one that happened when I cancel. So if you're paying attention, I'm not getting that 3rd tick because I'm stopping it early. But that's essentially what the clip means, is that you are closer to your next tick of damage, but you cast your spell too early. So it does mean that you can trust it. Like the guy who set this up is incredibly smart. So does that make sense, Bobby? But I mean, okay, so that's an easy fix. If you don't use a tick aura or a tick aura, if you don't use a tick sound for mind flay, there's weak auras that do it. Gnosis does it. I would highly recommend getting one, Campo. And the thing is, honestly, once you get it, I would just kind of sit here and practice. Like, get used to the timings, get used to the sounds, and like honestly, just try to time it as close as you can to that third tick happening. And like this is the best way to practice this, is just try to really time it. Because if you only do it in raids, then like see there I did it too early, I didn't get the third tick. Oh, you have 130 MS. Okay. So that sucks. Yeah, having 130 MS makes it more difficult. The thing is, see, I'm not the person to ask about this because I have 20 MS. My MS is really good. The thing about MS is that it works similarly. Like, because of the delay, you need to find that timing with that 120 MS added in. I've heard from people who have like 150, 200 MS that it's actually pretty easy once you figure it out. So yeah, if you're anticipating a lot, I don't know, because I haven't played with that, so I'm not the person to ask on that. I know people in the Shadow Breeze Discord have talked about it, so actually that might be a good question to ask in there. See if you can get some people who might play with this regularly, and see if you can get any of their suggestions on how to time that appropriately. Because I do remember people saying that it's like once you figure it out, it becomes pretty easy. I mean, even 7 clips isn't too many, but I mean, obviously this is going to cost you a decent amount of DPS. Okay, cool. So let's get back to your... That's fine. Oh wait, I was like, why does your damage go so low? It's because it's just your axis. Let's take a look at your mistresses. Okay, cool. So you did what I did. Vampiric Touch, Shadowed Pain, refresh with Mind Flay. Cool. That looks perfect. Infernals. Okay, you casted a single Vampiric Touch on all of them. Good. Looks good. What did you do to the Nether portal? Vampiric Touch, Mind Blast. 1. Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting. It might, like, and this is super min-maxy. Probably wasn't worth it for you to cast Shadowed Pain. So if you could have gotten an extra, like, 2 ticks out of Mind Flay, you know, that could have been 8k damage that you get. But your Shadowed Pain ticked once. So it did 1.8k. It gave an extra 10% damage to your Mind Blast. So we add 1.1k to this. So that puts us at 2.9 total. And then 20% of Mind Flay damage. So that's 2.4k. So it's around 4k damage, essentially, that you just got from Shadowed Pain when you factor in the tick that it did and the extra damage it does to these 2 spells. But if instead of this, you did like a 2-tick Mind Flay, if you would have had time for that, you could have gotten 8k damage in. So that's an extra 4k damage, which would have been an extra 80 DPS. Because if you look, or I'm sorry, no. That was wrong math. 4k damage would have been a third of that. So I guess that would have been like 20 or 30 DPS. Okay, so maybe that's not the avenue to go. I mean, the Shadowed Pain was not worth casting here because the ad died so fast. But so like if this is consistent with how your ads normally die, your Mistress of Pain, I would not cast Shadowed Pain on it. I would just go straight into Vampiric Touch and then Mind Flay and Mind Blast. So what dots you cast on ads really depends on how fast your raid kills them. Like I would oh, this is a Nether portal. So yeah, this is your Nether portal. Your Nether portal dies so fast, and like mine might too. I honestly forgot which one we were looking at. So like mine's similar. I got 1 tick of Shadowed Pain. Now this crit, so like it makes my Shadowed Pain worth it, but if it didn't, it probably would not have been worth it. So I think on the, okay, so this is actually probably a good case right here. So we have the Nether portal and we probably have the volcano die similarly quickly. Yeah, so I think what I would say is on the volcanoes, and this is actually something I need to start doing too, not just you. on the volcanoes and on the nether portals, they die so fast that I think you just want to go Vampiric Touch into Mind Flame, Mind Blast. Or even better yet is, I think the way to truly optimize it is you would only use my Vampiric Touch and Mind Flay on it. And Mind Blast would be cast on Jiraxis. So essentially this might be a lot of tabbing. Because Mind Blast is going to do reduced damage to the Mistress, or I'm sorry, to the portal, because if you don't have Shadow or Pain on it, and it might not have all the debuffs. I mean, it might have all the debuffs, I don't know. But if it doesn't have all the debuffs that Jiraxis does, then it would be more damage to cast Mind Blast onto Jiraxis. So this might be where you just do VT into Mind Flay, and you just make sure Mind Blast is kept on cooldown, but it's only hitting Jiraxis. Now, that's going to be a lot of tab targeting. Try to figure that out, assuming like if it lines up where you cast Mind Blast just before the portal comes out, that's perfect, because then you just do VT into Mind Flay on it. But it's possible that doesn't happen. So that's one of those things where I'm not sure if the optimization could be too difficult, or it could lose you DPS essentially if it's not played perfectly. But I think that might be the way to do it, is like, I think these die too fast in your raid, they die too fast in my raid. Like my Shadow Word Pain was not worth it here. What about on the volcano? Okay, I actually got 2 hits here. So this was probably worth it for me. I think your volcano, you only got 1, right? So like probably wasn't worth it here on the volcano. So small min maxes, but that's kind of what happens as your logs improve, unfortunately. You gotta really find like the small crevices to pull the DPS out of. Okay, so we've established that your ads look good. Jiraxis. I still feel like your Jiraxis damage is a little bit low. And I mean, maybe it could be like RNG. Maybe you just like didn't get a ton of crits or something. Like, I mean, for example, I just noticed this. My Mind Flay crit percent was 50. Yours was 34. And you know what's interesting is our Mind Flay DPS is the exact same. 27. Actually, yours is higher. 36 casts. You have more casts than I do. I guess you have a longer fight. So longer cast, more average hit 4.2k, average hit 3.9k. It's actually interesting. I guess I'm spending more time casting other spells, obviously. I did 8.9k, you did 8 points. So I did 300 more DPS. Yeah, let's look at this on like a DPS per like ad basis. So I did 300 more than you to the Jiraxis. What about Mistresses? You did 438 Mistresses. I did 503. So 70 more. It's like not that much. Oh, wrong button. Oh my God, if I could. Okay. Let's look at Infernals. You did 235. I did. Okay, so this was Bellflame Infernal. I don't remember casting Shadow Word Pain on, but I guess I did. Oh, sorry, Infernal Volcano. Picked the wrong one. So 545 versus 700. The hard thing is here, it's hard to evaluate like how long your ads lived for. I mean, I can check that. I think the tricky thing here is that, like, you know, your dots fall off. I'm assuming you had 2 die right here. Like, it was ticking on all 4 here, essentially. And then you might have had 1 or 2 left here. If we look at resources, HP. Why do we not pre-pot the first boss in TOGC? Can answer that in a second. I want, just before I lose my train of thought, I want to... Enemies. Bellflame Infernal. I guess so you guys had 3. I mean, 1 dies, the other one dies. They all kind of die like 5 seconds apart. Oh, there's 4 of them. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, it all does decent damage. What combat timer is scuffed? Sorry. Oh, so why don't we pre-pot on the first boss? That's because the way it works is... Oh, yeah, exactly. So the way it works is that, like, what happens is, if you think about this as, like, the gate, and, like, Gormok comes through it, as soon as Gormok comes through, combat starts. But you still have, like, another 12 seconds until you can actually attack the boss. Which means you need to time your potion before he walks through this gate. And that'll leave you with about 3 seconds of potion, roughly, when combat starts. So in 3 seconds, you can basically do like these 2 casts. So I mean, you can get the benefit of your potion on 2 casts, or you can go with a flame cap, which is going to boost your Shadow Fiend. And the other thing is that, like, if you mistime your potion and use it during combat, then you're screwed, because now you don't get an in-combat potion either. There is a macro you can use so that you, like, I don't know if I have it on this character. I think I have it on my mage. But essentially, there's like a no combat filter or something you can add to macros so that you don't actually use it in combat. So essentially, you can have like your pre-pot, which has this like no combat thing. So like it's really good on Algalon, for example, who randomly starts. Like the combat timer is not always set. So it's like if you go to hit your potion and you're already in combat, it won't use your potion because it only uses it outside of combat. I do flame cap for Shadow Fiend on that fight. Yes. I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. Like, honestly, 3 seconds of a potion just on those 2 casts might be better. I just don't want to risk not getting a combat potion. And I wonder if I think it might buff rain, because I think this is based on your fire spell damage. Maybe not. No. That's a lie. It's not fire spell damage. It's fire increased damage. So that's why it's really good for like mages, for example, is because their fire talents buff this. It's not a spell power thing. It's a increased damage. How much extra damage is Mammoth Treats? I have absolutely no idea. Couldn't tell you. I just use them. I think it's pretty minimal. They might have an answer in the Shadow Breeze Discord. I don't know. I just use them because, you know, they're relatively cheap. So I just have them. I have no idea how much DPS they give though. Okay, so so the thing that I'm not really sure, like my Shadow Word Pain, my Shadow Word Pain was about 100 DPS. I think, you know, the thing here is that this got 6 ticks off. If in your stack, when you see all the Infernals, I think this could be a case where if one is further away from like your cluster, your central grouping of like Jiraxis and all your melee, it's going to take longer to die because it's not getting hit by as much cleave. So I think that what I did was I casted Shadow Word Pain on that one that was further away. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch the VOD. I guess this was also a week ago, so I don't know why I did this. But it got 6 ticks and it actually did a lot of damage. Well, a lot of damage for Shadow Word Pain. So I think that's a case where if you see an Infernal that's further away, it's kind of a judgment call in the moment that can be hard to make. But if you think it's going to live longer, it could be worth it to Shadow Word Pain. Because it's interesting. You have 4 Infernals. I think I only had 3. Which is why I only have 3 Vampiric Touches going out. But like my DPS on the 3 was higher than your 4. It might be just like, honestly, and this just might be the case, that your ads are just dying faster. Like if you look, your average cast is 19.9k. So I guess here we can do it this way. You have 4 casts and 19 ticks. So just about 5 per. I have 3 casts and 19 ticks. So I have 1 less cast than you, but I have the same amount of hits with Vampiric Touch. So essentially that was 1 less global I spent to deal the same amount of damage. Or really even more damage. So it's 79k versus 79k. So it's literally the same exact damage. I just spent 1 less global to do it. So this just might be a case of your raids killing the ads too fast, which is good from a raid perspective, but bad from a parsing perspective. This is why that like this fight in particular is super annoying. Like I wouldn't have been opposed if they made changes to it. I don't particularly care. I think, you know, if guilds want to spawn a ton of ads so that people can AoE, good for them. I guess my guild's never going to do that. I don't really care. But this is a case of, I think your ads are just dying really fast. which is why you're just not getting as much value out of your Vampiric Touch. Because I think overall, everything looks really good. Where can I get the weak aura use of dot focus targets if you're able to link it? Dot focus targets. Well, that would just be a macro. You're going to record your raid tonight? Yeah, recording helps. And that's the other thing about logs is logs don't show you what decisions you're making in the moment. And I think that, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm down to help. Especially in a raid, is that on paper, everything can look good, but you might have done a play that you did correct. Like you might have, mind flayed the boss that like you had a good, like, what's it called? You had a good, like you didn't clip, you had a good delay. You did really good damage with that mind play, but you could have gotten more damage by putting a Vampiric Touch on an ad. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened here, but that's something that it's really hard for me to tell from logs, like what decisions you made in the moment. I'd say the biggest thing right now just seems like mind flay clips, which is going to be hard with your MS, and then your ads are just dying fast. Except for like one of them. This one ad that this is ticking on seemed like it lived quite a long time. Yeah, Fell Flame Infernal 4 is just chilling. Like you got 6 hits on this one, which means your other 3 Vampiric Touches had 13 total hits. And so this basically had, this one cast had half as many hits as your other 3 casts. So obviously not the ratio you want to see. Ange, if I'm saying that right. Ange, Samuel. What weak aura? Are you talking about the twins one? Or are you just saying you just want to be able to put dots on your focus target? Because you can just make a macro that would cast at focus. So anytime you have a focus target, you can just cast on them. The one focus thing that I do use is for twins. So we go to welcome. Oh wait, that's Ulduar. Clickable buttons. So this is like I can click Shadow Word Pain or Vampiric Touch on my focus target. And of course I forgot to use my focus target today. But if that's what you're talking about, let me know. I can share this. I'll share you the link for it. Yeah, all right, Campo. I'm sorry. It's like, I think that it seems like some of it is out of your control. It's just kind of how your raid's doing the fights. And I think that's kind of, what's up? I think it's just kind of like your ad damage is low because your ads are dying fast, which again, it's not your fault. I mean, that's a good thing for your raid. It's bad for parsing. Your Jiraxis damage was not that far off. Like you had, like that's the thing is that like your Jiraxis damage was 300 less than mine. And I probably sim at least 300 DPS higher than you. Yeah, no problem. Like I have 8.9, you have 8.6. So it's like, I think your Jiraxis damage is very good. It's just, it's that ad damage that is unfortunate. Yeah, no, I'm happy to help. I hope that was helpful anyway. And hey, on the bright side, you got to change 2 gems. So hopefully, where was it? It was your belt. Oh, this has haste in it. 259. Oh wait, this is from, oh wait, this is mine. I'm such an idiot. Okay. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to run now though. I need to eat dinner. If you do want a log review, just come hang out during a stream sometime. I'll try to make time for them after raids and between raids, just depending on how much time there is. Can't always guarantee it. And like I didn't eat before this, so I'm gonna run a little bit early. But anyway, take care, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully see you next week.